All right, so we're live on YouTube. We will go ahead and get the recording started, right when you announce it at 2.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everything's okay on your end though, right?
Seems good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. We're about 3 minutes from start for those of you that are currently online. Thank you for being patient. Commissioner Dick, I see you. Hi there. Looking good as always. Commissioners, as you come in, just turn on your cameras. Let me know that you are here. We may have, no, Commissioner Mazza, I still see you on. Vice Chair O'Neill, welcome. I see you on.
If the court reporter is in the attendees, could you raise your hand for promotion, please?
Jackie. Jackie Sherwood. Awesome. All right, we're about 2 minutes out from start. Just want to make sure that we've got everyone. Now I think I've got two clocks that don't match in time for about 40 seconds. But we are about 1 minute out from start. Okay, it's getting closer. All right, we are almost at time here. I am seeing, I think we lost Vice Chair O'Neill, did we? I'm looking at the Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, I think she was having issues with her Zoom. She was going to rejoin in a minute.
Right, okay. Then if people would be so kind, it is 2 o'clock. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. It is December 2nd, 2025, and you are at the hearing and action portion of today's session. Hearing and action is where we're starting today. I am going to do a sound. Thank you so much. I'm going to do a sound check for commissioners. Commissioner Blackwell, Commissioner Burton Falk, present. Commissioner Dick, present. I see you. Thank you. Commissioner Mazza, I
Here,
see. Thank you.
here,
Uh, Commissioner O'Neill,
Here.
thank you. Commissioner Quintanilla, Commissioner Ruiz, Commissioner Wu.
here.
Thank you so much. All right. Welcome, commissioners. Welcome, everyone else. Again, this is the hearing and action portion of today's agenda. We are going to read through today's agenda, and it is as follows. Agenda item A is approval of minutes. Agenda item B is correspondence. Agenda item C is plan of lots. We have one item under plan of lots. Agenda item D is hearing and action. We have 3 items under hearing and action. They are as follows: Council Bill 2025-1925. Number 2 under hearing and action, Council Bill 2025-1926. And item number 3 under D, hearing and action, is Council Bill 2025-2385. Agenda item E is the director's report. Moving to agenda item A, which is approval of minutes. Commissioners, we have no minutes before us. Agenda item B, correspondence. There has been no correspondence dated December 2nd, 2025. Agenda item C, which is plan of lots. There is one item under plan of lots, and it is as follows. DCP lot 2025 00293 at 4600 Blair Street. This is a major subdivision in the Hazelwood neighborhood. Presenting is Mr. Shepke.
Thank you. This is the 4600 Blair Street subdivision. It's the proposed subdivision of one parcel into 5 parcels. The proposed parcel D17 would have frontage on Blair Street and would be 209,000 square feet in area. The proposed parcel D35 would have frontage on Blair Street and would be 137,309 square feet in area. The proposed parcel D2 would have frontage on Blair Street. It would be 308,252 square feet in area. The proposed parcel D55 would have frontage on Hazelwood Avenue and would be 20,651 square feet in area. The proposed parcel D1 would have frontage on Hazelwood Avenue and would be 14,587 square feet in area. The subject property is currently vacant, and the recommended motion is to preliminarily approve the 4600 Blair Street subdivision and schedule final review on December 16th, 2025.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shepke. Is there anyone here for testimony on that particular item? Seeing no hands, commissioners, at this time, do we have a motion from the floor for preliminary approval today, final on December 16, 2025? Do I have a motion? Commissioner Dick was moved. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Trace, second.
Thank you, Commissioner Ruiz, second, and I'm going to do roll call. Commissioner Burton Falk, aye. Commissioner Dick,
Aye.
thank you. Commissioner Mazza,
Aye.
thank you. Commissioner O'Neill,
Aye.
thank you. Commissioner Ruiz,
Aye.
thank you. And Commissioner Wu.
And Commissioner Blackwell, aye.
Oh, fantastic. I'm sorry, Commissioner Blackwell. I did not see you when the Hollywood squares were kind of slimmed down there, so my apologies. Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Shepke. Okay, so we are moving on to agenda item D, which is hearing and action. We have 3 items under hearing and action. I'm going to take the first 2 and read those in.
Commissioner, could I interrupt just for a second? Would you, we actually did have correspondence. I just want to make sure that we get that in.
Okay.
So it just letting you know now so that we can get it in by the end of the meeting. But if you want to go ahead to this next item and then bring that, read that in afterwards, that's okay with me.
Fantastic. I'll go ahead and read in item number 1, which is Council Bill 2025-1925. This was continued from September 23rd, 2025. This is a zoning text amendment regarding application approval deadlines. This would be citywide. Mr. Lehman will be presenting this afternoon.
Commissioner, I don't have I know we have a request from the council office for a continuance due to a medical need from the representative that had been presenting this. And so I would recommend accepting that continuance. And then just to reinforce the previous record, the intent isn't to re-present the entire report. We had the hearing previously. It was continued with the request from the commission that there would be a meeting between the representative, Mr. Carter, and I, and our staff to see if there might be opportunity for collaboration. We did meet, we had a good discussion, but ultimately, after many requests for follow-up, which he was going to follow up with the council member, I did not hear anything back. And then, however, today there was a request for the continuance, and I think just out of deference and care, if somebody is unwell, to grant that.
Thank you, Mr. Lehman. And I concur. I think medical emergency would definitely warrant a continuance. Commissioners, you are hearing Mr. Lehman. I think that we should definitely offer the continuance. Is there agreement with that? And I see a hand raised, Commissioner Mazza and
I just
Commissioner.
wanted to ask a question if that's for 1925 and 1926.
That's correct. They are two bills, but I think you can, with intention, motion for a continuance for each or for them together.
I'd like to make a
It looks
motion
like
to have a continuance for Council Bills 1925 and 1926 for a time frame. What would be the time frame? 21 days?
No,
2
she's
weeks?
requested for 2 weeks. The council office is requested for 2 weeks, which is also the end of our of the commission year, which would be this next meeting.
Right, correct. Okay, I make a motion to have a continuance for Council's Bills 1925, 1926 for a two-week time frame.
Thank you, Commissioner
Seconded it.
Mazza. I'm sorry, who was the second?
Commissioner Blackwell.
Thank you, Commissioner Blackwell. For a second, I'll do roll call. Commissioner Blackwell.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Burton Falk. Aye. Commissioner Dick.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Mazza.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Neill.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Ruiz.
Aye.
Thank you, and Commissioner Wu.
Aye.
Thank you. That will cover items number 1 and 2 under agenda item D, hearing and action. We will now move forward to agenda item number 3 under hearing and action, which is as follows. Council Bill 2025-2385. This is a zoning text amendment regarding waste transfer stations. This is in the Hazelwood neighborhood, and presenting this afternoon is Mr. Fraker.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Just a quick point of clarification. This is a citywide text amendment. So I'm going to go ahead and read in the findings of fact for the case and then turn it over to the councilwoman for the presentation. So this Council Bill 2025-2385 to add a definition and use standards for a waste transfer station was referred to Planning Commission on October 22nd for a report and recommendation. Per 922.05 of the Zoning Code, the Planning Commission shall act to recommend approval or denial of the application within 90 days of the receipt of a completed application, which is January 20th, 2026. Prior to introduction of the legislation, city staff worked with Councilwoman Warwick's office on potential language for the new use. This research was conducted in September and October of 2025. The research looked at existing city policies, state requirements for transfer station uses, and how other jurisdictions regulate the use. In 2017, the city developed a report, a roadmap to zero waste, that among other measures to decrease waste outlines the need for the city to have its own waste transfer station. The report notes that trash is currently hauled up to 34 miles away after each truck is filled, leading to routing inefficiencies and increased greenhouse gas emissions from refuse vehicles. As one of the potential action items, the Roadmap to Zero Waste report states that transfer station ownership could be private, public, or a public-private partnership, and that Republic Services, the owner of the Hazelwood facility, has expressed interest in building one in the past. City planning staff met with the Department of Public Works on October 24th. At that meeting, DPW reiterated that having a waste transfer station is a priority of theirs. As part of the city's ongoing comprehensive plan efforts, discussions have been held noting the need for a transfer station use within the city to help streamline operations. The comprehensive plan has not yet been adopted. City staff researched how other jurisdictions define a waste transfer station use. Please see attachment 1 for a summary of those definitions. As part of the proposed legislation, staff are recommending a modification to the language of the definition to mention that the waste transfer station use would exclude recycling facilities and other uses intended to remove and/or reuse material from the solid waste stream. The definition, city staff are also proposing another modification to the definition, I'll just go ahead and read the definition. It's a waste transfer station means a supplemental transportation facility used as an adjunct to solid waste route collection vehicles for the primary purpose of moving the solid waste from the collection vehicles to other vehicles for further transfer. This excludes recycling facilities and other uses intended to remove and/or reuse material from the solid waste stream. The proposed legislation includes a 500-foot buffer requirement around residential and commercial zoning districts, as well as schools and parks where waste transfer station use would not be permitted. Please see attachment 3 for maps of the 500-foot buffer areas. In discussion with the councilwoman on November 7th, it was clarified that the use standard 3 should reference uses as well as zoning districts. Staff are proposing a modification to the language of that use standard to clarify this. Please see below. Please see that for the definition. And its waste transfer station shall be located at least 500 feet from the following uses or zoning districts, defined by a radius of 500 feet from the property lines of the proposed facility. City staff looked at requirements from other jurisdictions and states as precedent for the proposed 500-foot buffer. City staff also looked at jurisdictions that have built new modern transfer stations and how those transfer stations are incorporated into the built environment to showcase how a newer facility may be better able to fit within Pittsburgh's urban fabric than a traditional model. An example of the Seattle North transfer station is included as the last attachment in the report. Notice for Council Bill 2025-2385 was emailed out on November 10 and posted on the City Planning Notices webpage. With that, the recommended motion is that the Planning Commission of the City of Pittsburgh makes a positive recommendation to City Council on Council Bill 2025-2385 for a zoning text amendment to add a waste transfer station use and standards to the zoning code with the following conditions. That the definition be revised to state the following. Waste transfer station means a supplemental transportation facility used as an adjunct to solid waste route collection vehicles for the primary purpose of moving the solid waste from the collection vehicles to other vehicles for further transfer. This use excludes recycling facilities and other uses intended to remove and/or reuse material from the solid waste stream. And that use standard 3 be clarified to say uses or zoning districts, and point A be revised to say all residential zoning districts. With that, I will turn it over to the councilwoman for the presentation. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Joe, will you be moving the slides forward?
Yes, my colleague Inshara will be doing that.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Apologies if there's some muffled noise of my children fighting downstairs, but it's a snow day. So thank you. Yeah, so we can move on to the next slide. Thank you, Joe, for the explanation. This is the legislation language. I am, welcome all the modifications recommended by city planning staff, and also very grateful for their assistance in putting this legislation together in the first place. I have nothing but good things to say about our zoning team and the help that they give with these types of bills. So we'll move on to the next slide. This is just more. We can move on to the next one. Great. So sort of why are we doing this bill? So sort of what is the current state of waste transport and the waste transfer station discussion here in Pittsburgh? So right now we do not have a municipal solid waste transfer station that in operation in the city of Pittsburgh. Our environmental services drivers have to drive all non-recyclable municipal waste directly to the landfill in Imperial, which is quite far, right? It's about 20 miles away, maybe a bit more. That obviously puts a strain on our vehicles, and it takes time off, away from environmental service routes. There certainly could be a benefit to the city of Pittsburgh to having a waste transfer station, right? Having a place where those trucks can go, drop off the waste that is closer, right? And then once the larger receptacles are filled, then those receptacles would then go on to the landfill. So that would take some of the burden off of our trucks, so they wouldn't have to travel as far to unload. But right now we don't have any plan or guidance on where such a facility could go in the city. And, since, there have been conversations about the need for such a facility, it makes sense to have, to have that guidance in place. And I'll say that while it's critical that we, meet our operational efficiency needs, as a city, we need to be able to do so without negatively impacting the health and the well-being of our residents. So we'll go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So here we just have some photos. These are just taken off Google of the types of receptacles that you find in a waste transfer station, right? So they are very, very large, right? These are enormous receptacles that are filled with waste. And then these are obviously taken. These are pictures of the landfill, of those receptacles getting dumped out on the landfill. So, you can see these are very large containers, oftentimes open air, right? So they're open at the top as garbage is loaded into them. So go to the next slide, please. So this is a map of where, according to these guidelines, where these waste transfer stations could and could not go. So the pink area are the GI, and the blue area is sort of, residential, commercial, right? Parks, that type of district. And the overlap in the GI, so within the GI, you can see there's sort of like a purplish overlap. Those are the places in the GI where these waste transfer stations, that's the border, right? To keep them away from people's homes, basically homes, businesses, commercial districts, schools, that type of thing. Next slide, please. So just, sort of the community impact of a large scale waste transfer station, right? Excessive trash and litter, light pollution from large-scale facilities, noise pollution from increased traffic, right? Lots of large trucks and noisy equipment. Obviously, if you have a waste transfer station that all the city garbage trucks, that all the garbage trucks from around the city are going in and out of to drop off, right? That's going to be a lot of noise around. Air pollution from the trucks and odor from the waste itself, and of course rodents, roaches, and other pests. So again, I want to underscore that as a city, it is our job to find solutions to our logistical and environmental challenges that do not harm our residents. And there was a facility mentioned prior. While a waste transfer station may be necessary for the city, we, as city council, city planning commission, should be proactive about determining where one of those facilities could be safely located, not just simply allow the private market to decide where one goes based on whatever works for any one company or waste operator's bottom line. And in the last, so next slide, please. So during the briefing, I believe it was Commissioner Wu asked about the more restrictive 500-foot barrier versus the 300-foot barrier in the state regulations. So I do want to underscore that we have a case in Pittsburgh that is in my district where the state of Pennsylvania has given a permit for a waste transfer station to a facility that is wholly inappropriate. And this is under a previous owner, right? That is just, wholly inappropriate for a waste transfer station. So I just wanted to show the current state of that. And this is the facility currently is a recycling processing center. But I just wanted to make sure that, that the commissioners can see sort of what the state has said is okay for a waste transfer station for raw garbage in this facility, this existing facility. And this is what we have here. This is just open material, right out in the air, right next to homes. So this is, go to the next slide. This is another, and these are very recent pictures, like taken within the past few weeks, right? Go to the next slide. And just to see how close this facility is to where people live, right? So that is why I have opted to and then next slide, please, just for this one, just sort of, why am I not relying on the state's regulations? Because the state, seems to think that, and this is the facility that we're talking about, that's a recycling, because it's not a waste transfer station. They have a permit to become one, but this is where that facility is in proximity to a community. And so I just am not, I don't have confidence in the state DEP's determination on what is appropriate for this type of facility based on determinations they've made in the past. So that I just wanted to clarify that for commissioners because it came up during the briefing. I think that might be it. Next slide. Yeah, so that's it. That's it for me. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can.
Thank you so very much, Councilwoman Warwick. At this time, we open the floor for public testimony. I'm also looking at the attendee list. It doesn't look like there are any hands raised, but if someone wishes to speak, okay, now I'm seeing some. All right. As you pull them on the panel, we'll let them give testimony, please, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Burton-Falk. I will promote folks for providing testimony. So the first person we have is Lori Kolzinski. You may unmute yourself and provide your testimony. Please state and spell your name for the record.
Hi, Miss. We can hear you now.
Hi, Lori Kolczynski, KOLCZYNSKI. I am the General Manager of BFI Waste Services of Pennsylvania, a local subsidiary of Republic Services. This text amendment is yet another attack on our newly acquired facility in Hazelwood. This has operated as the outlet for the City of Pittsburgh recycling volume for many years. The previous owners began the process to obtain a permit for it to also be utilized as a municipal transfer station in 2019, with that permit being issued by the PADEP in 2024. This facility, while it has not operated as a transfer station at this point, We have focused on the transition of ownership and our desire to focus on upgrading the facility's existing recycling process operations to date. There are items outlined in the PADEP's issued permit that we would need to accomplish and have certified by the state before we could begin accepting any municipal waste. I'm sure you can all understand why we are now hesitant to invest our time into those updates as we focus so much of our attention on continuing to battle these attacks from Councilmember Warwick. I want to clear up some of the false items that were identified in the presentation. Those containers depicted are not the types of containers that would be utilized at this facility. They are much larger, those require tippers. Ours would be on a much smaller scale, typically holding 20 tons of material and would be fully contained. This is no different than the containers that are frequently found outside many of the high waste producing locations like grocery stores and the like. Questions were brought up about increasing from to a 500-foot versus a 300-foot residence boundary that's listed for the state requirement. This requested boundary increase is a direct result of our transparency in providing details on how this facility would operate the transfer station at this location to meet the 300-foot requirement by the state. The zoning text amendment would not only have a negative impact on our business as the only transfer station permit holder within the city of Pittsburgh, but it would also be in direct conflict with the city's stated growth and sustainability goals. Under the Resilient Pittsburgh page on the city's website, pittsburghpa.gov, it details how the city joined the 100 Resilient Cities Network in 2014, powered by the Rockefeller Foundation and the RAND Corporation, along with engagement of over 2,000 Pittsburghers. The report provided was published in 2017 and is also available on the city's website. Page 17 specifically talks to the needs and benefits of building a local transfer station in the city of Pittsburgh. At the top of page 18, we, Republic Services, are called out as a potential partner because we have a long history of working in partnership with the city. We didn't decide that it made sense for our bottom line. The research dictated what made sense. The next bullet addresses where it should be, and it lists the location in Hazelwood as a viable location, detailing the proximity to the existing recycling center that is now our facility as a requirement. This text amendment needs to be voted down. The research has been done and remains published by the city. The city's own Public Works Department knows how beneficial this would be to the city. It could be argued that the current operations at the city's Public Works Department operate as it is defined by this waste transfer station text amendment. Please put a stop to this attack on our facility and let us get back to work supporting the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kulczynski, for your testimony.
Next up for testimony is Frank Chimera. You may unmute and provide your testimony. Please state and spell your name for the record.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Thank you.
Terrific. Hi, Frank Chimera, spelled Chimera. And, Lori and myself have spoken in front of this group a few times now, first on the rezoning effort and now on this text amendment. And I would like to reiterate, as Lori mentioned, that this is a continued attack on the facility that we operate in the Hazelwood neighborhood. Again, my name is Frank Chimera. I am the Area Director of Business Development for Republic Services. And I wanted to make it clear to the group that Republic Services has the only permitted waste transfer station in the city of Pittsburgh. Councilman Warwick is trying to create prohibited zoning language that would impact every potential suitable site for a transfer station throughout the entire city in an attempt to block this permitted transfer station from operating. Republic's facility in Hazelwood has been permitted in accordance with the Pennsylvania DEP site feasibility requirements and their entire approval process, including local community engagement, including setback requirements. The permit was issued in 2024 when it was determined that this facility and parcel met the state's requirements to host a waste transfer station. Councilwoman Warwick showed pictures of the recycling facility and its proximity to homes. Those photos are misleading, as the waste transfer station would actually be located around the other side of the building and outside of the 300-foot setback. She showed photos of the recycling tipping floor, not the location of the trash tipping floor. The state setback from residential properties is 300 feet. Councilwoman is proposing a 500-foot setback, but it hasn't been sufficiently answered why 500 feet is in the city's best interest as opposed to the state requirement of 300 feet. So if not this site, then where else in the city is there a suitable site for a transfer station that can meet the city's proposed requirements? As you saw from the councilwoman's presentation, where she showed how few places in the city have the appropriate zoning to host a facility like this. One is permitted and viable right now, but she is trying to eliminate it. Contrary to councilwoman's assertion, it was not decided by the private market. It was decided through city guidance and state approval. A waste transfer station is an essential public service, and as mentioned, it has been identified by city leaders as a need for the city of Pittsburgh. For informational purposes for the group, Republic Services operates more than 246 transfer stations across the United States in urban, suburban, and rural settings. The goal is to create a more sustainable and cost-effective way to transport waste over longer distances, and this is an appropriate location for it. We utilize state-of-the-art technology to minimize any impacts on the surrounding areas. Currently, Pittsburgh's waste trucks travel 30 to 40 miles to one of the two landfills. This would allow them to transport waste just within the city's borders. Councilwoman Warwick said there's no plan or guidance on the topic. I would like to point to Pittsburgh's Zero Waste Roadmap. That roadmap recommends locating any future transfer station as close as possible to the recycling facility that Republic Services owns at 50 Vespucci Street in Hazelwood. Republic can responsibly operate this transfer station at this site. It has already been approved. We encourage the Planning Commission to vote down this text amendment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chimera, for your testimony.
All right, we have Jesse Zerillo. You may unmute and provide your testimony. Please state and spell your name for the record.
Hello, my name is Jesse Zerillo, Zirillo, from the law firm Lewis Brisbois, Brisbois. I represent BFI Waste Services of Pennsylvania, LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Republic Services. And I would just like to reiterate what Frank and Lori said in our opposition of the proposed zoning text amendment outlined today. We feel that our facility and my client are being singled out by this text amendment, and that is tantamount to illegal spot zoning. As for the use at the property, the current case law permits modification of current use to be grandfathered in when said use is consistent with the type of use previously utilized on the property. Moreover, the doctrine of natural expansion permits a landowner the right to expand as required to maintain economic viability or to take advantage of increases in trade, so long as the use is sufficiently similar so as not to constitute a new or different use. This proposed zoning text amendment undermines what the city is trying to do with its planning and would harm my client's business. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Zerillo. Any additional hands?
There are
Seeing
no
none.
additional hands.
Thank you. Okay, commissioners, at this time, are there some questions and comments as it relates? It looks like Commissioner Mazza's hand is up. Commissioner Mazza?
Yes, ma'am. A lot of great work here. I agree with a lot of these things that are put in this, zoning code changes. But I think there's a lot of unanswered questions about where it would be if it's not there. What other communities are going to be affected? How do we, how are we going to fix the whole thing? I mean, are there any other possible sites in the city? Right now, it doesn't look like it. The comprehensive plan doesn't look like it's going to be finished, which is proposed in that right now. I mean, we're in December. We have a new administration moving forward, coming in the next few weeks. I just think there needs to be more questions answered and how we're actually going to do this and make it safe for the whole city and the residents of the city of Pittsburgh, regardless if it's in Hazelwood or if it's over in Sheridan. I just want to make sure that everything is right, because we do need one, obviously. We do need one because of the travel distance, because of the vehicles that we have. I agree with that. And you have to have a safe distance between homes, obviously. But I think we have to make sure that we know exactly where we want to do it and have it so we don't have to go back and change the codes again to make it, put in a right. What I'm saying is, look, I just think there needs to be more conversation how we can fix this whole thing. And, Councilman Warwick, I agree with you on a lot of these things, but in my opinion, I think we need to hold back and really try to fix this. And I know, Mr. Lehman, you're getting ready to probably say something. It looks like, but anywho, I just think we need to figure this thing out before we move this thing forward. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mazza, for the discussion. Are there other commissioners that would like to comment or have discussion on the table as it relates?
I kind of would like to hear what Corey has to say before I say something. This is Commissioner Felice.
Oh, okay. Would you like
Corey,
go ahead.
just want to I should probably keep my camera off when writing emails. I must have expressed my face while I was composing an email that you
I
read.
apologize. You were smiling. I apologize.
Well, hey, we could all use some smiling. No, I didn't intend to weigh in on this.
Commissioner Ruiz, was there something specific that you may have wanted to hear, or maybe a
Now I have a
specific question?
Yeah, now I have
okay, great.
My question is, and I think this was said in, if I didn't hear it, I apologize. Is this to change the location, or is this to change the requirements, or like what? Please explain to me. And the other thing is that I didn't hear a community voice here. I just heard the voice of the LLC. And I was wondering if, was there community outreach done? What is the community saying? Those were my questions.
Yeah, so, well, with regards to the existing facility in Hazelwood, I want to start by saying that it is not a waste transfer station, right? It is a recycling center. It's interesting because someone here stated that they were going to build a separate building, but I was in a call recently with Ms. Koczynski and the state DEP, where the DEP was also under the impression that there was going to be a separate building, but that it was clarified on the call that no, indeed, the building that, at some point in time after, unclear renovations, that the existing building is intended to be a future waste transfer station. So I would definitely recommend that the Republic Services team get on the same page about whether it is the existing building, which is my understanding from Ms. Koczynski in the call with the DEP, or whether they are planning to build a separate facility somewhere else. And I'd also like to point out that similarly, the notion that the use is so similar that it should be allowed anyway. For folks who were at the hearing about the rezoning, I think that this commission has heard ample testimony. And Commissioner Ruiz, you may not have been there for that, but we had 30 or so folks in the room from Hazelwood and 15 or so who testified to just the incredibly harmful impacts of having this facility and other, industrial facilities around there, but next to their homes. So I didn't actually, it was a lot for all those folks to come down to city planning last week. And so my hope, I don't like to ask my residents to come out. I didn't ask them to come out the first time around with the last bill. So I'm hoping that the sort of history of the residents who came out at the last meeting will suffice for the commission to understand the incredibly harmful impact of having such a facility, which, let me underscore, is not a waste transfer station, right? It's recycling. So it's material that is, in terms of odor and rodents and all these things, it's material that's, far far less harmful than regular waste would be, and already causing much distress in the community as is. And so, the idea that these two uses are similar should underscore the fact that a facility of this size and this magnitude should not be close to homes and businesses. Now, the fact that it is, right, that this recycling center, we all understand that, right? There is a large recycling facility smack dab in the Hazelwood neighborhood, and that's on me as the council person to work with the county health department to really make sure that the existing facility is up to code and is passing their inspections and all that type of thing. I recognize that. I also am very glad that Republic Services has started, recently joined the Greater Hazelwood Community Collaborative and is now sort of engaging with the community as a result of all of this. I'm very grateful for that. And I think that will help them sort of hear more directly on a more regular basis about the impact that their operations have. However, they are not operating a waste transfer station at this time. So I hope that is sort of long way around explaining why I didn't sort of pound the pavement and make sure that residents came out to this particular hearing.
Thank you.
But if resident voices are needed, I'm more than happy to do that again if I need to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like Commissioner O'Neill's hand is raised.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the presentation, Councilwoman, and thank you to the speakers who came out. Also recalling all of the community members who were here last week. I understand that this is a separate bill from the rezoning, but we did have kind of some overlap in some of the testimony. I would recommend supporting this bill and making a positive recommendation for the reasons Councilwoman Warwick stated. This is something that is going to be coming into the community, and there is a need to protect the health, safety, and welfare of that community. And because we have that kind of rational basis behind us, it makes sense to move forward with the rezoning. And I think it was also helpful just to point out and sort of address Commissioner Maz's statement, but something I was going to say anyway. The map that was included in Councilwoman Warwick's presentation does show, potential areas where these uses would be permitted, and that could be viable. Whether there's a, market interest there or not, I don't know. But it does show that the use would not be prohibited in the city. And then specifically regarding Republic Services use, I just want to echo some things that Councilwoman Warwick said and add on a little bit. Any lawful use in the city, currently permitted, is permitted to continue, regardless of this bill before us or the, similar rezoning bill. And there are some rights under, those lawful businesses to continue and expand, as was noted by the attorney for Republic Services. What that expansion and sort of use looks like is really something that would have to be evaluated on a case-by-case basis, whether that was permitted or not. But here I think we're, looking at a little bit more of an intensive use. This is, not just an industrial use, which is what typically garners conditional use approval. But it is something that also has increased traffic and, potential impacts on the surrounding community due to that traffic. So it's not just the use itself, but it is a lot of kind of, ancillary travel that could impact these applications, and is something that kind of garners more thought and review, which is why it would be a conditional use in these areas where it would be permitted. So thank you to everybody for that presentation and for your thoughts, and I would recommend approval, but happy to hear. I can't. I'm also having.
Vice Chair O'Neill, your sound went out, and I think I was hearing you earlier. You have some issues as well with technology.
Yes.
Oh, very
So,
good.
so
Okay.
I will end on that. I'm having
Okay.
technology issues. If there are no further comments, I would motion to
There's
recommend
another
approval.
hand. There's
Okay,
another hand raised.
great.
Let me take Commissioner Wu at this time.
Yeah, I just had a question for uh, possibly Mr. Lehman and or Councilwoman Warwick, and possibly even the Republic Services as well. What is the closest use term and definition currently in the existing zoning ordinance in your, I guess, estimation to what a waste transfer station would be?
Commissioner Wu, might I rephrase your question, or would it make sense to answer your question as if we had an application without this use category, we handle it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so the code has a provision for unlisted uses. Sometimes we get uses that are brand new to the city or brand new to everyone, and we need to have a way to deal with them. And the code has the zoning administrator determine what the closest related use is. When I get an application like that, what I do is ask the applicant for a very detailed description of the use. I go through the use categories that are existing in the code and really base on the impacts and the character traits of that use once I understand it fully, and then try to match it to the closest comparable. Without all of that information, I don't want to say for certain, like as like a final determination, but would probably look at the uses. Let me pull up the use table here. Uses that have to do like recycling services or salvage yard, that have to do with trash and recycling and those kinds of materials, noting that this is different. And that's why, when the council person came to us and asked us to work with her on this use, we looked and she brought to us the knowledge that there are other communities in the area and in Pennsylvania that have this type of use category. Then we went and did research and looked at comparable cities, looked at other municipalities in the area, and provided some recommendations for her to pursue from there. So I would say there definitely isn't a use that's close. This does seem unique, and it seems that other municipalities have recognized that. But in order to make a final determination of what that use would be, I would need to have a great deal more information about that proposal.
Yeah, I think in light of your response, Mr. Lehman, that it is a positive overall to have the definition and the use term now for waste transfer station, so that something like that is not so up in the air, and that goes for both the residents and for the applicants as well, if there would be an application for such a facility. And I think, in terms of location of a waste transfer station, looking at the map that Councilwoman Warwick put up, I mean, there's not a lot of areas in the city where that's covered by the GI district or RIB GI. However, such a use does not necessarily have to be directly in the city limits. There definitely no shortage of adjacent municipalities around the city. and some, kind of nearby even to the existing recycling facility. So it doesn't have to be all the way out in Imperial necessarily. And if this is a use that is called out in some other zoning ordinances, it might, it might be in one of those adjacent municipalities as well. So, I would say in terms of having this use listed and defined, I think that's a positive for everyone, actually. And that concludes my comment.
Okay, commissioners, is that the Commissioner Blackwell? It looks like you've opened.
Yes, I just wanted to second Commissioner O'Neill's motion to support and vote for the bill.
Okay, so she's made a motion based on the conditions in our report. Is that accurate? And then and you're seconding, correct?
Correct.
All right. I'll do roll call, and that would be Commissioner Blackwell.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Burton Falk. No. Commissioner Dick.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Mazza.
No.
Commissioner O'Neill.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Ruiz.
Aye.
Commissioner Wu.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Councilwoman Warwick. Have a
Thank
great
you.
rest of your day. You're very
Thank you all
welcome.
so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good
You're
day.
very welcome. You also have a great day.
Okay.
I do need to go back because it looks as if under agenda item B, if you'll be patient with me here, under correspondence, I did miss some correspondence. So Planning Commission correspondence for December 2nd, 2025 is as follows. Regarding item DCP-MPZC-2025-00195, Council Bill 2025-1993. Hazelwood, this would be correspondence from David Cayley, the Progress Fund, regarding item DCP-MPZC-2025-00230 under Council Bill 2024-0959 North Shore. There's correspondence from the following: Nick Wells, Elise MacDonald, Nadia Beth Knobloch, Melissa McSwiggan, and Bill Chill. So my apologies for not having read agenda item B, correspondence in. We've now completed that. We've done C, D, and now we are moving on to agenda item E, which is the director's report.
There is no director's report.
Well, it looks like we're then capable of a motion to adjourn for December 2nd, 2025. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you so much. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very
Stay
good.
warm, everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Have a great
Bye.
rest of your day. Thank you.